It's a battle of the birds here at Pembroke Park, early stages. Werrett with the ball on the just in front of the interchange benches. Both teams would be desperate for a victory today. Big Ferg Morrison, the boy from up the mountains, on the mark as that's kicked on, looking for Johnson. He was at the back. It's popped out, a little squirty kick along the boundary line. Pate trying to lay a tackle. He tries to nail another one. The lead coming on. Now the ball's moved into the forward line. Oh, defensive mark just dropped there by Percy. She's usually got better hands than that, Percy. Quick kicking by McCarthy. McCarthy's moving on. Some speed shown there by Rose. He'll be lurking mostly in the back half today as that one's cleared out to the far side of the ground. Little push on Smith. Nearly keeps it in. And now it's over the boundary line. So at this stage, we've got a victory for Sorell a few weeks back. Brighton yet to get a win. However, they did get a win in the reserves earlier and a cliffhanger as the Robins kicked the last few goals of the game to win in the Scoobies. The ball's in the back half, just goes past McCarthy. He can't get it. A lay tack by Howlett. Now Brighton have their first chance on goal. They have to track back here. And it's through for a minor score, and Brighton defending. But at the moment, Sorell, a bit of momentum early as the first behind's on the board. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full. That one did miss. So short kick in to Pate. Marks on his chest. Looks like McCarthy might be running around near him at the moment. There's a lead from Rogers. Ignored. Kick long to centre wing. Probably not the best kick. And that's a great mark. Fantastic grab taken by Gargison. Now, he's got an awkward kicking style. Probably wasn't a bad option, but one of the men we'll see a lot here in the field today. One of my favourite, Collis with the footy. Fit and raring to go here for the Robins onto his left. That's a good kick. Well, it looked like a good option, but both teams making some mistakes early as the ball's been turned over again. Now, that's a dangerous kick inside the forward line. Big climb at the back by Salter. Salter couldn't quite mark it. Tracking back of the Robins players. Collis getting pulled to the ground by Cashin. And we're going to have a ball up around about 15 metres out from the Sorell goal. Sorell doing all the attacking. They've had 4 inside 50s in the first 3.5 minutes here. Early stages, Sorell with the behind. Brighton yet to go forward. Climbing over the top was Salter. It should be worked out by Howlett. He just gets a scrubby kick, a releasing kick. But there's lots of Sorell players. Werrett's one of them. He just missed that one. Now popping out the side here. Now a short kick. Tied in the pocket. It's picked up by Bateman. Bateman drives to the pocket. Not a great kick. Bateman may have had an opportunity to try and have a shot on goal in the end. He tried to straighten it up and missed it now. Pate's just here. That's a dangerous kick to Collis. He does mark it under some pressure. Now, he hasn't got a lot of options. He's going to have to go across to the far side of the ground. It's not a bad one. And it looks like it's taken by Randall, I think, out there. It's kicked long now. Turnover again. So that's the 5th turnover from Brighton. As it's a bit scrappy early on. Sorell need to take advantage of that as the ball's driven into the hot spots. It's a good one to Salter. Does he grab hold of it? Yes, he does. He pulled it down and a terrific mark. And he's going to have a shot on goal from around about 45 metres out. Collis was tracking, was unable to get the fist on it. And Salter with an opportunity here for Sorell. So a defensive turnover as the Robins tried to bring the ball out of defence. They were trying to navigate, weave their way through the miasma of the Sorell players, and they weren't able to do it. As Salter from 45, it looks like it's going right. It's a long way right, and that's through for a minor score. So the ball's going to be brought in by Bond. He's going to have to do some work today. He's got his mate up the other end. He's got a Pate now at the back. He's got the fly. Pate! Nearly taking a specky. He got up high. He was near the clouds, and there's plenty of them here at Pembroke. And it's out of bounds, just in front here of the Navara, with Martin Duffy situated at the moment. Big climb, Bond at the back, picked up by Pate, gets around a bit of space. He did have a mate there, Gregerson, just on the side. He couldn't get it to him. Defensive punch laid by McCarthy and Rogers. Slipping over, unluckily, was Craig. Try and get back up again. The grass is quite long here at Pembroke. That's a good kick into the pocket. It might be tracked down. No, it's not. And we're getting a lot of action here from the Duff vantage position on the map. The ball just trackles over the boundary line, just in front of Young Lion. So around about 40 metres out. All the attack from Sorell. They've had 7 inside 50s, and they're the only one with a score on the board as the Robins have yet to go anywhere near their half of the ground. Kick. Howlett will get onto it potentially first as the 2 number 4s go hard. And the umpire's found a free kick to Howlett. So he was certainly tracking that one quickly. Pate, it's about his 5th touch. He's going to wheel around quickly, Pate. Further afield, he's got McCarthy. He decides to hold on to it. Now he's going to go to the 45. That's exactly what Matty Smith probably wants, but a bit of flair from Pate as he drives the ball high up towards Fergie. Ferguson couldn't mark it. And he's going to be a man, Morrison, to potentially try and climb and get a few marks. He's a long way from goal at the moment, and their avenue towards goal does rely on him a lot. Throw in here. White. He looks like he's playing in the ruck at the moment. Narco with his first touch, usually clever. Distributes the ball wide. Now running back through the middle of the ground's Craig. He's been one of their better players this year. Not a great kick because it only finds Rose. Rose just needs to get his hands on it, Rose. Bends down, picks it up, releases the handball back to Collis. Collis now facing the right direction. Kicks it long to centre wing. The ball's just gone over the top of McCarthy. Chance for Sorell now just to release the pressure just for a little while. That's good footy. And the ball's going to be moved back through the middle of the ground. Not a great kick. Still got possession here, Sorell. Narco releases the handball. He's going to get back again. He's got a little bit of real estate in front of him. Not a lot behind him. Gets around one tackle. Clever plays. The ball's just hit high into the air. The only man there, Salter, tracking back. He couldn't get it. It's picked up by Johnson. Not a great kick from Johnson. Let himself down there. And it's into the hands of Howlett. Howlett's kick is excellent to number 11, Rose, who's getting a lot of the ball off half-back. He's going to have to be maybe a little bit better with his kicking decisions. Matty Smith coming into the map a few weeks ago and talking about decision-making was the key. And on that occasion, the decision was good, but the execution not great. Out of bounds. Early lead here to Sorell. Martin Duffy, just to my left-hand side, the man who had a fun morning. We did try and get Jock McGregor mic'd up today, but I don't think we quite worked that one out. But two great coaches. Jock McGregor has the hands of Garganson, trying to get 2 fists to it. Running past that was Randall. Now a little bit of run from the Sorell. This man again, McCarthy's been really good. He's got a bit of zip. Brings the ball backwards. But unfortunately, it's a free kick here to the Brighton Robins. Tinder with it now. Swipe on him. He sneaks it wide. Now that's going to be a free kick, I'd imagine. Looked like a bit of a push in the back, so Miller with a free kick. He's a long way from our, would like to say commentary position, but we're not really. The back of the ute today. There's Miller looking for an option. This is where it's been clogged up, and he's just kept going towards the boundary, which is probably the methodology that Matty Smith's happy with. Slightly defensive with a little bit of attack. He'll want the ball to be brought back into the middle of the ground at some stage to try and release that ball. People like Morrison, maybe White might move down there as we've got a ball in. So first chance here for a set play. Look out, McCarthy. He's just lurking, just ran past him. Unfortunately, they just can't hold it in there at the moment. It's going to run it now to Miller. Miller gets onto it, gets it onto his non-preferred foot. It's not a great kick and it's picked up here by Rose. Rose has it now. He's moved a long way forward. Gee, disappointing entry inside their forward 50. And the ball's being picked up here by the defender for Sorell. He releases it. Pate has the front position. He climbs high. The spoil came, but he got to his feet, maybe pushed in his back. Reed, I think, was trying to lay the tackle and turn him, but Pate already had his momentum going forward. And it resulted in a free kick. Now he's looking for a teammate. This is what Matt Smith talks about. Needs to get a really deep entry. He tries to get a deep entry. He's trying to get into the hands of Reed. Reed can't mark it. It's released out by Bateman. Bateman goes to ground. Now they're calling for it. And Reed just needed to stay on his feet then, and he couldn't. It's out of bounds. Left forward pocket. So the second forward 50 entry for the Robins to about 8 here in the early stages. A perfect day for footy. Overcast. Players going in. Good tackle laid by the Robins, I should say by the Sorell defender. There's Morrison sucking in a bit of air. He'd love to get his hands on a footy and maybe snag one early. One of our favourites here on the map. Also lurking around that pack is Randall. He's actually in the ruck, pushing and shoving, just trying to get his fist. Randall just missed again, and Narco facing away from goal. Gets a handball, just trying to release it. Probably wasn't quite. That's a good tackle laid by Howlett. Just holding it up. Howlett's just, I think, running on the ball at the moment as he just tracks back, find a bit of space, and there's Matt Smith pointing, giving some instructions to his young Robins team. So ball up here, another set play. A lot of players around the ball as the umpire just giving some directions. Now he's saying, I'm just going to track back here, lads. Just on the edge of that pack, Trinder. Running past was McCarthy. Tackling hard. And Gregerson, he gets dragged down. We're going to have another ball up here. Howlett was the other man doing the work, ensuring that one wasn't going to go anywhere. And now we're going to have another ball up. Early stages. Sorell with the early lead. One behind to Zip. We expect this game to be relatively close. We're hoping it's going to be close. Now it's released out by Byers. This is a bit of a chance now just to the commentary side or the club room side of the ground. It's worked into Cashin. Now it's just been clugged. They just got the ball back and got an extra couple of players and it's forced a high kick. It's trying to look for Reed. Releases the handball. Now there's not much space to work with. Gets around one. Doesn't get around the second as Howlett drags him to the ground. You got around White. Couldn't get around Howlett. And it's going to be a free kick for holding the ball. Love that decision from the umpire. He certainly tackled him before he went over the boundary. So Howlett, one of the better players for the Robins for the last couple of seasons. Narco probably spoiled his own teammate there as he went up. Also trying to track back as that's kicked to the middle of the ground. That's a really good kick. So it's setting up here nicely. It's into the hands of Miller. Now Miller's going to go back here. Interesting decision from Miller. Maybe, I shouldn't say Miller. And now it's to Werrett. Werrett now, a really good use of the footy. Good decision from Werrett. Straight to the 45. Into the pocket. It's a dangerous kick. It's a good kick. It's a good mark. And opportunity now to Sorell to have their second set shot on goal. Quickly playing on was Bateman. Bateman had a shot on goal here with not a lot, with quite a bit of pressure a few minutes ago. On this occasion, he's found Johnson, who's in a much better position, around 45 out. Slight angle, an opportunity to Sorell to get the first major on the board today. So good decision there from Bateman to square that one up. That pocket here is it's pretty narrow, and Bateman in a much better position. Kick on goal. It looks like it's just drifting to the left. And the second behind for Johnson. And unfortunately, Sorell missing a few opportunities here early. In this critical clash, neither team wants to get a utility of a brown wooden spoon at the end, and that's not a great kick. Little bit of defence, but that was definitely Collis giving away a free kick. And it's going to be Navakis now, or Navikas, I should say. Chips it up. He's looking for Salter. Salter nearly had it, won it, lost it. Tracking back. Good tackle laid. Great tackle laid in the end by Howlett. Now he's going to have to play on here because they've got a Pate just up further field. Now Pate just needs to try and work out, is there an option in the middle of the ground? They're sort of zoning off at the moment, are the Eagles. And they're preventing the second kick. And this is where Long is probably an okay option up towards centre wing. Morrison in front. He just gets pushed just to the left-hand side. He wasn't able to keep it. It's just kicked off the ground by Smith. Now running through there was Trinder. Trinder now, he's worked off the footy, and Sorell just got it back for a little while. Then a quick kick off the ground by Smith for the Robins. But still, they just turn it over again. It's into Workman. Workman hands it off, and Sorell running out of defence now, tracking the ball. Good kick. Although it's once again, Narco couldn't quite pick it up. It's a sloppy game of football here as maybe both teams just bringing themselves down as Stewart gets one of his first touches. He'll need to be important. Collis now kicks it to around about 30 metres. A little bit of a push out. Nearly marked by Trinder. He couldn't quite get it. Tracking on his Bateman. He's a long way. Snap on goal. Just gone across the face. And I think that might have been out of bounds on the left-hand pocket. So Brighton probably with their best opportunity to get a goal. They weren't able to get it. It's going off the ground. There is Miller. He'll have a break. Coming back on is number 9. We'll just have to get his number again. Not selected till late. So a throw up here. Climbing up will be Gregerson. He couldn't win it. And it's cleverly picked up by Bresnham. He works the ball back. Quick kick out. And Sorell now. This is where they've been pretty good, Sorell. They need to try and lock it in. When their structures are working well, they do work the ball nicely off half back. So Sorell, couple of behinds. Not the best kick. It's going towards Solder again. He just missed it. And White now. So White kicks it to half forward. Ferguson climbing up. Couldn't quite mark it. Got a little bit of height there, Ferguson. White's going to get it back here. It just goes between his knees. Tracking around onto that was Bond. He lays a bit of pressure. Might have been taken high. White running part. Coming in late was Dodge. It's going to be held up here. Just around about the middle of the ground here at Pembroke Park. So, ruck contest. Looked like not Solder, I should say. White got his hands to it. Another tackle laid. Now, the umpire's blown his whistle here. He's called that one pretty early. It was Dodge coming in and laying the tackle. And the umpire says, no, give it to me. I want to send it back up into the sky again. Ruck contest. Now it's worked out. Narco with a clever handball. Try to find one of his mates in McCarthy. McCarthy just couldn't quite grab it as he ran past. And another throw up here is we're around about maybe 200 or 300 people in here today for the Battle of the Birds in the Southern Football League. We're about a third of the way through the season, and Brighton will be desperate to try and get a victory today. Bateman, he's had a bit of the ball. Collis in defence. They'd love to see him maybe further up the ground. He's a really good user of the ball. That's not a bad kick from Collis. In the end, it was quite a contest down there. All right, so can Brighton try and work the ball up to half forward? There's a good option. It finds McCarthy. He's just starting to work a little bit further forward, McCarthy. Looks for an option. Looked right. He's going to have to probably stay right here, McCarthy. It's a high flyer there. Nearly taken down by Randall. He couldn't quite. He had a good leak. Randall then tries to lay a bit of pressure. He can't. And unfortunately, as it happens so often, at least they're getting some forward 50s. As happened so often today, Sorell have been able to get that ball out as it's gone to Bresnahan. He's marked it on half back with the locks. Kicks high. It's a bit of a wobbly pass. He goes over the top of White. Now that's an interesting one. Piercy just clipped one around his ears. No, in fact, it's not. It's gone to Collis. He might have just copped one a little bit late. Just around his chops. You know, he's looking for an option, pleading for an option. Gets on his left, just hoiks it up to half forward. Morrison at the back. Play that mark, umpire. Yes, it is. Held on to it and turns quickly. Looks for a lead. Doesn't have a lot of options now. He just squirts the ball to around about 30 metres out. And once again, it's chipped off. Disappointing. Another entry, though. We're equal in entries. 9 apiece. Howlett tracking back. Good job by Howlett. Defensive work then by Bateman. Bateman and Howlett kind of running near each other. Young Matty Howlett, was he taken high? Looked like he might have just got bumped. He's still going in and getting the football. Now he's going to be held up. And we've got a throw up here around him and on some utes over there. And also just in front of the only shelter here at Pembroke Park. We've got fire pots going gloriously at the moment. They'll need to continue all day. It's a little chilly here, first week of winter in southern Tassie. There's McCarthy getting off his knees and handing that ball back to the umpire. Yeah, no score here. We're deep into this first quarter. Maybe it might be an arm wrestle, Howlett tackle. Was he taken high? Narco, good job. Rolls him down onto the ground. And the umpire calling it correctly. Didn't have an opportunity then, young Matty Howlett. A lot of players around the ball. Clark on the edge of that pack. Can't get it. Running past with Stewart. He needs to get a bit of the footy. It's tracking back straight into the hands of Percy. Percy, now that's a good option. Just switch the play. Finds Collis. Collis dropped the mark. He's still got enough time. Tries to get around the lurking hands of Hitchens. Pate will have to climb. He didn't quite have enough time. And the spoil over the top. And out of bounds with the ball in the hand of Percy. So the right decision from Percy. Collis unfortunately dropped the mark. I think he was trying to play on as well as mark it at the same time. So White in the ruck. Neither player really getting a job. Gargison, he's been good in the ruck so far. It's not a bad contest. Clever pick up there. I think that's Bresnahan. He handballs it off, and Sorell will try and work the ball towards this wing again. The commentary position, I think that's out of bounds on the full. Well, I think we're right here. Looked out of bounds, but to be honest, the umpire was probably a metre on the other side. So it was a difficult one for the umpire to get then. Probably a fair decision in the end. So as the Brighton players try and track back, as it's one from the left-hander, Gargison. Kicked high. Yep, there's a call from the crowd. Someone get a goal. And it's gone out of bounds in front of Rogers. Out of bounds on the full. And Rogers is going to have a free kick here. There's the top of my head. I'll get that out of action. Rogers now, deep in defence. I really don't know where Rogers is going to go. He's really only got one option. He's going to have to kick it down to Bond. Bond now needs to move it on because tracking back there quickly was Hitchens. He's got some speed. Hitchens just goes over the top of the head of Dodge. But it's okay. Collis now, he's having plenty of the ball and probably at the moment very influential as the fist of Reed knocks it down towards the boundary line. And the umpire's blown his whistle. And he's going to say it's a free kick here to Sorell. So Sorell with the ball, middle of the ground. They're going to try and switch the play. Jock McGregor likes a switch. He's trying to bring it back to the attacking side of the ground. It's going towards Line. Line works the ball inboard with a nice handball. Short chip. It's okay. The fist coming back. McCarthy, great grab with a lot of pressure from Rogers. Now McCarthy, that's a good kick from McCarthy. Climbing up. Couldn't quite get the hands on that one. The big mullet down there. He's been all right for Sorell. He's had a couple of opportunities. There's probably a high tackle. A call by the umpire. And we're going to have a throw up here. Set play around about 35 out. As Collis is doing a stack of work, just trying to suck in a bit of oxygen to ensure that he can keep going. He might have just copped one in the thigh as he's down his haunches at the moment. As the umpire comes in, we're about 19, 20 minutes as White gets his hands to it. Good tackle laid by Lyon. And it's going to be a free kick. So free kick here now to Clark. Clark, a lot of the better users of the ball now. Brighton are on half back. Clark being one. Matty Howlett, Collis, and also Dodge, probably they're better users by foot. That's just unfortunately gone over the top. So here we go. Can Stewart get the ball moving? He's an important cog in the midfield for Brighton. Didn't do a very good job on that occasion as Workman, work-like, squirts it out to the far side. Oh, there's a sneaky little balk. No candy there, unfortunately. Navakis, he couldn't get it. And Brighton now with an opportunity through Clark. Clark's kick is pretty good. He finds Reed. Reed onto his left. High to the forward line. Wow, just marked, yes. Hanging on to that was Percy. He needed to hang on to it because he had a little bit of space and he's going to have an opportunity to have the first direct shot on goal. And I'd like to see a goal before we leave, Martin Duffy. To be all right, wouldn't it? So goalless first quarter from the two teams who are down towards the very bottom is Percy. I don't know. He's not a bad kick, Percy, but I don't know what his shots are like on goal from set positions. A beep of the horn to our right as he swings out wide. It's certainly not tracking towards the goal. It's tracking wide of the goals and defensive marks. So no score, so Percy probably just a little bit too far out on that occasion. Where it gets the ball, goes short, not a bad option. Finds Craig. And that is a goalless first quarter from the two bottom teams. The Battle of the Birds at the moment, they're both flightless as neither team has managed to score a 6-pointer. It is 2 points to zip. It is very similar to the football game last night between the Czechs and Australia, which Australia won 4-0. And that was actually the half-time score in that match. 2-0. And around about 12 inside 50s for both sides. And it is quarter time here at Pembroke Park with a slender lead to the Sorell Eagles over the Brighton Robins. Still no score. No score at all. Don't know what's going on here. Reed couldn't get onto it. Brighton have had a couple of opportunities. Reed's dragged to the ground. It's a good tackle laid by Bateman. And Sorell have turned the ball over. It's going to run out here towards Keeley. Keeley, that's a nice kick. Directing the ball through the middle of the ground. He finds Hitchens. Hitchens couldn't quite get it. I think that was Gregson. He was over the back there. Howlett releases it out. Not far enough, though. And Sorell will enter again. Spilled over the back. Howlett might have to run onto it and apply some pressure. He does that. Tries to go again. And running past that was Rogers. Rogers goes down. And here comes Werrett. Can't get it. And a scrappy kick out. It's enough of that at the moment. There's Rogers again. Narco with a handball. Gets the ball back towards Byers. Byers' kick. Hang on. Hitchens marks it. We might have our first decent chance of a goal. Sorell zip 2-2. Brighton donuts at the moment. As, in fact, it's not. I think it's Hitchens now. It's a massive kick because Sorell needs something. We need something here to keep us warm at Pembroke Park. As here's the first decent shot on goal from 15 metres out. And Sorell have the first goal after about 38 minutes of football. And it was desperately needed as the players get around that man there. And Sorell with the first on the ball. They're 1-2-8. Brighton are yet to score. In fact, it might have been Hansen there who kicked that goal. I just haven't quite got an updated scoreboard. I should say score sheet as Solder now on the ruck. Scragged at the ball. So Sorell finally with a goal. Running back there is Rose. Works the ball off. Now brings the ball out to towards McCarthy. Takes on his chest. McCarthy has a lead further afield in Reed. He ignores that one. Kicks up to Morrison. Morrison just gets his fist to the ball. Running past was Werrett and Lyon. Cruising through was Byers with a releasing handball out towards Johnston. Johnston just pops the ball over the top. That's Salter. Now the man who's kicked the goal running, that's a clever mark taken by Bateman. Bateman now looking for an option. Not many coming his way. Decide just to pop it up deep inside the forward 50. Pate with a defensive punch on Hitchens, and it's out of bounds. So we think it's Hansen that kicked that first goal for Sorell. As that was Hitchens there with a punch. There's a throw up here. Tied in the pocket here on the map. Duff TV, Pembroke Park. Quick kick out of the pack by Bateman. Didn't quite get directed as releasing the hands there was... And there's Bateman again. Just trying to punch it out was Rogers. He was unsuccessful. You can hear the noise, the ball going into the flesh as young Matty Howlett on the ground, just getting himself up just in front of the Sorell defender. So throw in the air. Oh, just all by himself was Gregson. It works out here. There's a sloppy shot on goal. Matty Howlett has a little bit of time. Releases the ball with a clever handball. I think that's Rogers now. Wobbly kick, but it's not a bad option out towards Stewart. Stewart drops the mark. He's going to track back onto this one again. He has a little bit of time. Well, he didn't have too much time. A wonderful tackle laid by Byers as Stewart was away and he was able to hold him up, and that's an important tackle because it did look like Stewart was going to get an inside forward entry of some note. Now the ball's brought, I think that's Werrett now. Werrett hands over to Johnston. Johnston goes back to Werrett. Workman, I should say. Squirts the ball over the top. That's okay. Sorell with a few numbers there. Good tackle laid. Great tackle laid. And it's going to be a free kick here. So the Roberts applying some pressure. And there's a 1-on-1. White. In fact, it's Clark. Clark just needs to have a look. Well, it's okay from Clark because it might be a bit of a chaos ball. That's gone to the ground. Running past that was Workman. And this might be holding the footy. No, the umpire says it's not. They're late. And what about the head was a call? May have been high, I think. The umpire's on the other side, though. There's a lot of Sorell defenders coming back around there. So Salter in the ruck, punches it down. Good tackle laid. It's going to need to be a good tackle. Clark, I should say Percy, dragged to ground. And the umpire says, hey, I'll have that one. Lyon laying the tackle. Might have been a little high as well. But once again, the umpire just on the wrong side of that one. There's Salter in the front position here. Gets his left hand to it. Little handball out there. That's okay. Morrison, Ferguson lurking at the back of the pack. Flying shot on goal. And Morrison kicks the first for the Robins. And that's probably the most strenuous high five I've ever seen, as he nearly took Randall's hand off. Morrison pumped. And Brighton have their first. And we've got a goal apiece here in the second quarter. 1-2, 8-1 straight. Finally, the floodgates are opening up at Pembroke. So that's about average for a goal in the AFL. 80 to 90 possessions, I think Carlton were last night for each goal. We're back to the action again. Hansen. In fact, that's not Hansen. It's worked out now to Werrett. Werrett's just into the forward line now. That's just dropped off the chest. It's picked up by Rose. Rose always good when he uses the footy. That's another good entry now. So Brighton suddenly... I just feel like there's something happening here as Morrison just got to front position. He needs a mate to get down to the ground to assist him. Morris did a good job. He's actually able to get that ball about 30 metres further up the ground. And Jones did a good job. Jones and Morrison are matched up on each other at the moment. So Brighton with another entry is nearly the air being sucked out of Morrison at the moment. He's going to have to suck a bit more in. Carbon footprint there. As we've got Solder in the ruck. He's got a distinct height advantage there over Randall. Randall does have a good leap. Running past is Reed. Handballs off with Byers. Still an opportunity now for Randall. Randall's kicked the Bobby Dazzler. Brighton are away. They've kicked 2 in 50 seconds. We waited about 45 minutes for a goal and they've kicked 2 in a minute. Well, the handbrake has taken off. They got to nearly into first gear and now maybe into second as Randall kicks a blinder here in the right forward pocket. Just sneaking it through the goals. And yes, we can say it. Brighton are away. They're 2 straight. Sorell, 1-2.
score? Is that 72? Six straight 36. 36 to 92, is it? Yeah.